Okay, good morning. Probably no one. It is 6 a.m. on a Sunday. A bit of an impromptu class. All right, hopefully that's all right. So these recordings that I'm doing, I'm just going to call daily practice. So I'll throw myself on screen. That should be all good. Hopefully the sound is all right. So I'm just going to put on these daily practice classes. So they're not every day, as in I'm not going to be doing them 7 days a week, but they're just my daily practice. So when I do my own practice, I've decided I'm just going to record them and throw them up here on Facebook and on YouTube. So I'll put them on live for anyone that wants to join me live. And then they're also available saved later, both on Facebook and on YouTube. So these are just going to be whatever I feel like doing in the morning, or usually in the morning. So if you feel like joining me for them, unfortunately, I am a bit chaotic I'm not a very scheduled person when it comes to my yoga, so there's not always a lot of notice. I only posted this one up about 30 minutes ago, but when I do, I'll always put it up on Instagram, on the Facebook stories, so that you'll be able to see. Otherwise, like I said, they're always saved, so you can just do them whenever you'd like from the comfort of your own home. So, welcome to this morning's practice. It'll be about 30 minutes, just sort of all over, but we'll see where the practice takes us. So let's start in Shavasana. We'll lay down, get ourselves nice and comfortable. So it's Sunday morning here at the moment, live. But whatever time of day we take our practice, it's nice. I always start these practices in Shavasana because it's a good way to just switch off completely, not just mentally, but physically, being able to lay down still. I find that the less we're moving about, or even just the less effort that we're exerting, the easier it is to come back to this place of rest. And we just notice how we're feeling this morning. Always changing. Every practice is going to be different, even if we were to move through the exact same postures. It's the body that's always different. The mind is always different. Some days we feel like moving more, some days we feel like moving less. There's those days that the body just seems to move freely without effort, no resistance, and then other days it's like we're pushing shit up a hill, moving through molasses. And that's why we start this practice with this stillness. And it's just to notice what type of day it is today, how we're feeling, and how that's going to influence our practice. The more aware we are, the easier it is not to get caught in the trap of trying to push through things, of trying to force a practice that's not there this morning. Instead, we can just respond to how we're feeling, how the body is, pace that we want to move today. So as we breathe in, we're drawing that air all the way down to the pit of the belly, feeling it rise up to the top of the chest. And then we release from that chest, down and out from the belly. That nice gentle rhythm of the breath. As we wriggle through the fingers and the toes, we're going to gently hug the knees towards the chest, squeezing into our ball. Love starting here, the center of the body. When I'm not on my yoga mat, I'm often sitting down a lot. So for me, my practice is a lot about the hips, the lower back, hip openers, and twists as well. Very often either sitting in a chair at the desk here at work or finding a couch somewhere. And let's release our right leg nice and long. Taking our twist, we'll bring that left knee across. So if you've done my classes in person or been watching these videos, you know this is one of my favorite ways to start. It just opens up all the way along the spine. We can either have our gaze towards the ceiling, so either eyes open or closed, or we might like to draw it out over that left arm, those left fingertips. So if we're also someone that's sitting down a lot, whether it's for our work or just our lifestyle, this is a really nice place to start. We're just checking in any tension, any tightness along this spine. Whether we're restricted more through the upper back or the lower back. And just noticing when we take our postures that we're not forcing into it. We're feeling that breath at ease. We know we're forcing our practice when that breath shortens, when we tense up. And coming back through center, swapping sides, hugging that right knee in, lengthening the left leg out. Take a breath in here. Use our exhale to find our twist. Take another big breath in. So we've got that space all the way down to belly, rising to the chest. Back to middle. Hugging both knees in, squeezing tight, rocking and rolling up to seated. So we can either be cross-legged, or if we're more comfortable with one or both legs out, we're at home. If we've got pillows, if we've got bolsters or blocks, we can place them underneath the hips. We'll rest those hands to the shoulders, to the knees, take a deep breath in. As we exhale, that torso coming out to the right, down and around. So keeping this focus through the hips as we inhale, we're coming tall, and we're going to change direction with the breath. So exhale, out and around. So moving with our own breath here. And sitting up tall. Once more, we'll take our neck stretch, that left hand, resting to the side of the head, opening through the right side neck. Checking in with our posture. If we're slouching a little, take an inhale to lift up tall, but keep those shoulders softened. And if we're feeling that lift through the knees, relax the hips, the hip flexors. See if we can allow those thighs to just melt towards the earth. And releasing or letting go that hand as we turn the gaze. Chin coming in towards the chest. Slow, steady breath. And facing center, right hand over. And taking our transition, so Shifting into the upper traps, allowing those shoulder blades just ease down towards the hips. And letting go here, walking the hands forwards, taking all fours. We can come into our cat-cow with our inhale. We're opening that chest through the arms, lifting through the tailbone. Our exhale to hug under, tucking that tailbone, chin towards the chest. Now we can continue to flow this cat-cow. I like to move a little bit more on those exhales, taking those hips back towards the heels, keeping low, elbows in tight on an inhale, coming up to either our cobra or our upward facing dog. And then exhale, back towards that child's pose. So inhale, drawing that chest forward, pressing through the palms, noticing if we're keeping a shrug in the shoulders, lift through the crown of the head or lead with the crown of the head, keeping that gentle tuck of the chin. Flowing with the breath, so we can also keep in that cat-cow. So it's focusing flexion, extension of the spine, starting to loosen up, especially if this is our morning practice. We're in bed for, who knows, anywhere between 5 and 10 hours, depending if this is a Sunday. Maybe we're a short sleeper, maybe we're a long sleeper, but we do spend time just in very few positions. All right, let's tuck those toes, taking a downward facing dog. It's good to get that mobility in the morning. I love to flow as a morning practice. In the evenings, I prefer the slower style if you've done my restorative classes. It's just that nice deeper stretching, but this morning it's flow. We'll get moving, start to walk those feet towards the front of our mats, taking our fold. Hands to opposite elbows. We'll take a gentle sway, let that head hang heavy. And then releasing those fingertips towards the mat. We'll walk the mat to the right side. We can option to take the hold or those hands around that right calf and folding into a little deeper. Getting into these hamstrings, releasing the side, walking those hands over to the, did I say left? This one's right for me, but whatever the opposite is of whatever I just told you. Sometimes I mirror, so I get confused. And back to center. Taking a half lift with our inhale. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, lengthening, palms running up those shins, opening through the chest. Then exhale, fold it forwards. Bending those knees with an inhale, reach all the way tall. Extending up through the arms and then taking a fold forwards. Inhale, our half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend those knees, rising up. Getting nice and long through the body. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Exhale, fold. Another one of my favorites is we're going to leave that right hand towards the mat, inhaling, the left hand reaching up nice and tall, and then with an exhale, releasing that hand back to, it might be on the mat, it might be more comfortable to rest on the shins or the thighs, but we're just alternating with the breath, extending the arms nice and long at the top of those inhales, folding forward. So we're getting that lengthening down the back of each leg, so alternating through each side. But we want to focus on keeping our length and opening into the twist through the upper body. So if we're getting that stretch to the hamstrings, but we're hunching over into it, see if we can bring the hands up a little further along the legs so that we keep that length through the spine. So just finding our own sort of depth, our own range of motion for this stretch. And with both hands to the mat or towards the mat, let's inhale our half lift. Taking those hands to floor, stepping or hopping those feet back to our high plank. So getting nice and strong in this position. We can have our knees to the mat for support. Middle fingers pointing forwards, turning the inner elbows towards the front of our room, taking a nice deep breath in. Exhale, chaturanga, elbows stay nice and close to the body. Then inhale, pressing, opening that cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's start to warm up. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, open. Exhale, downward facing dog. This is our flow. We're going to start. This is how I like to start mine. Let's inhale, high plank. Exhale, deepen. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. 2 more times with our own breath. And once we've made our way back towards our downward dog, we'll gaze between the hands, soften those knees, stepping or hopping the feet towards the front of our mats. Let's inhale a half lift. Exhale, fold. Rise it up, reaching tall, adding a little back bend this time. As we exhale, we're going to open a little further through the heart. As we inhale, coming back nice and tall. Exhale, diving over. Half lift. Hands to mat. We're going to step our right foot back. Inhaling, opening to our twist. And exhale, top hand towards the mat. Stepping that left foot to our plank. Take a breath in. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Gaze to front of mat. Soften the knees. Bring those feet to front. Take a half lift. And fold. Inhale, rising tall. Folding forwards on our exhale. Half lift. And as we bring our hands to mat, stepping that left foot back, opening to our twist. One more breath in. Exhale, hand to floor, stepping back. High plank, take our breath in. Chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Inhaling that left heel nice and tall. Stepping it through to our low lunge. Placing that foot, bringing that back knee towards the floor. We can either frame the foot with the hands. We can bring those hands to rest to the thigh. If we'd like to focus a little more into the upper body, we can interlace the fingers and open through the chest. And then lengthening through the front leg, framing the foot, drawing the toes towards the chest. Deep breath. Bending through that front knee, hands strong to the mat, stepping back to our plank, take our breath in. Strong core, chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Inhaling that right heel nice and tall, stepping through, placing that foot, releasing that knee to mat. Take our option for that hand placement. So we can adjust that distance between the feet as well, between the legs. And easing down through the hips, opening through that hip flexor. Optional if we're finding that bind broad across the collarbones. Keeping that deep breath. Releasing any binds, lengthening through that right leg, hands to mat. So toes drawing towards the chest. We can keep that leg, or we can have the leg straight, or we can bend it as much as we like. Whatever allows us to feel it most in the belly of the muscle. If we're lengthening that leg all the way straight, but we're just getting that tingling, that sharp stretch behind the knee. Bend it, fold from the hips, feel that opening through the hamstring. So we want to make sure that sensation is that muscular stretch. We still may have, if we do have that tingling, that neural stretch, we can just add a gentle rock, as if we're just hitting the accelerator in a car very gently forwards and backwards. Bending that leg even further forwards, hands to mat, stepping back to our plank. Take our breath, chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Bringing that gaze forwards, taking those feet to jump, step or hop to the front of our mat, half lift, and fold. Rise it up, reach it, extend up through the arms, and diving over. Half lift. Actually, we'll take a fold here. We'll take another breath as we inhale, rising up nice and tall. And then we'll just release the hands by the side. We'll come into a wide leg forward fold. So we're going to step that left foot all the way back. So turning those toes side facing with a slight pigeon toe. So try not to have the heels in. We're going to turn them out slightly so the outer edges of the feet parallel with the mat. And we can adjust the width of our stance here as well. We can take those hands to hips, or we can interlace the fingers behind. We can inhale, open through the chest. Exhale, folding forwards. Now, we may have had our bind, we may have those hands to hips. We may like to put the hands to the mat for support, or one option is to wrap the peace fingers around the big toes, keeping the chest open, drawing it towards the mat. So bending through the elbows slightly, engaging through the biceps, but keep those shoulders relaxed. With either our bind, or we can draw those hands back to hips. Hug that core in nice and tight. Use an inhale, pressing through the soles of the feet. So we're strong through the legs to step up, or to press up, Stepping that left foot towards the front of our mat. Let's inhale, rise. Exhale, folding. Half lift. High plank. Moving with the breath, continuing this flow. Strong, steady through the upper body. And we'll inhale that left heel nice and tall, stepping that left foot outside the left hand. So coming into our lizard lunge. This is one of my absolute favorites. We can stay here with the hands or the elbows to the floor. If we'd like to, we can bring that left hand back to take hold of that right foot. And again, we're just releasing through the hips, relaxing them towards the floor. I said 30 minutes practice this morning, but we'll take that with a grain of salt. I'll try and keep it under 40. And releasing the back foot, hands to mat. So we're going to come back to a three-legged dog. So tucking those back toes, strong through the arms, pressing our way back, extending that left leg towards the ceiling, placing it back to the mat, swapping sides. We'll inhale, right leg nice and tall, stepping outside the hand. Place that foot gently, release that knee towards the mat, taking our options so we can lower towards the floor, or we may just be comfortable here. It may be that we're tight through the hips, so we've got a bolster or a pillow that we can place underneath the hands here and have that extra support. Any option we like. It's the luxury of being at home. In class we have bolsters and blocks and all that sort of thing, but at home, whatever props we have available, we can use for support. Especially in the winter months, it's nice to just have your BYO blanket. Slow, steady breath. Releasing the back foot, three-legged dog. Take our time, strong press. Extend long through the leg, releasing it to the floor. Taking a flow, high plank on our inhale, chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. We're going to walk those hands in towards each other, a little bit closer. As we bend those knees, gazing forwards, we'll step or hop the feet outside the hands. Taking our Yogi Squat, bringing those hands to heart center. We can use those elbows to open out. And again, just keeping nice and long through the spine. Try not to hunch or fold into this one. Use that inhale to keep long through the spine. Releasing any tension from the shoulders. We can place one or both hands behind us, lowering those hips towards the floor, scooting those hips back, tucking that right foot. I'll start mirroring here, so we'll tuck that right foot in towards the thigh, taking our hamstring stretch. So we inhale, reaching up, keeping that length as we fold forwards. So taking hold or resting the hands either beside or on top of the leg. Again, the leg may be straight. Maybe we're bending more through the knee. Release to sit tall. Right leg long. Finding that tuck of the left foot, so we're squaring up through the hips or facing over that front leg, chest open, inhale, reach up. Exhale, keeping length as we fold. Finding our hold here. We'll be close to 30 minutes. 30 plus Shavasana. Sitting nice and tall, we'll bring both legs out in front, but with the soles of the feet to the mat so that we can lower ourselves down. And once we've rested the head, heels in towards the hips, keeping those legs together. We'll take a gentle side to side. And from middle, turning the soles of the feet in, knees opening out to the sides. So we can have those arms relaxed by the side. We can have one to belly and one to heart. If we need a little more focus into the breath, if we're a little distracted this morning, maybe we're taking those hands overhead to opposite elbows, just resting it in here. And returning those legs in toward each other, making our way to Shavasana, lengthening the arms and the legs, keeping those eyes rested closed. Just taking these last few minutes to ourselves. Bring our focus back to the breath. Allowing for that nice, easy flow of air. Natural rhythm of the body. As we wriggle fingers and toes. Inhaling arms overhead. Stretching long and rolling to one side. ourselves up to seated. Taking those hands to heart center. Checking in once more how we feel post-practice, both physically and mentally. I'm grateful for taking the time out of our day to simply look after ourselves. As we bow our heads to our hands, we honour ourselves and each other with Namaste. Thank you very much, everybody. Happy Sunday morning, if it's Sunday morning for you, or whenever you're watching this. So these will be the daily practice videos, which I'm excited about because I'll also have, I'm keen to do some fit flows, which I haven't actually taught in person for a very long time. I used to do them at Markula, which is more strength, more dynamic flows, our fit flows, so a bit of strength work. So I'll have those up and introduce them, but these daily practices will just be whenever I get to the mat to do my own, I'll make sure I throw the camera on. So they'll be on Facebook, they'll be on YouTube, and you can watch them whenever you'd like. Enjoy the rest of your day.